Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Well, we'd like to welcome you all to The News on WTOC Plus. We start with this afternoon. Choices Learning Academy in Jeff Davis County was placed under a safety lockdown today due to a non-weapon-related altercation between two students. In a statement from the school, they say the lockdown started at 11:52 a.m. and lasted for about 8 minutes. Jeff Davis County Schools said due to its proximity to the pre-K, that school was also placed on lockdown. They say law enforcement responded to the call and the incident was quickly resolved. That was from a statement that Jeff Davis County Schools posted on social media. Turning now to the Crime Watch. A man has been arrested on a felony DUI hit-and-run charge after hitting two people with his pickup truck Saturday night in Beaufort County and leaving the scene. That's all according to the South Carolina Highway Patrol. Richard Davidson, who you can see on your screen now, was charged with 2 counts of felony DUI and 2 counts of hit-and-run following the collision on Shell Point Road near Broad River Drive. This all happened around 8 p.m. on Saturday. SC Highway Patrol said Davidson was driving a Ram pickup truck east on Shell Point Road when he hit 2 women who were walking. They say after hitting the pedestrians, Davidson left the scene and was later arrested. Davidson was booked into jail Sunday morning, and the condition of the 2 women who were hit has not been released. Well, happening today, there will be a town hall for Richmond Hill residents to discuss a proposed nickel refinery that's gotten significant pushback from the community. The town hall will take place from 6 to 8 p.m. today. It will be at the Richmond Hill City Center on Cedar Street. Weston Elements is the company trying to bring the nickel refinery to Bryan County. They are welcoming community members in for an open discussion where they'll take questions, perspectives, and feedback. A petition against the facility has more than 2,700 signatures, while a petition in favor has more than 3,000 signatures from residents. Many opponents say environmental risks outweigh the potential job benefits. Our Shay Schrader will have much more about this coming up this afternoon during the news at 4. Turning now to state news. Tributes are pouring in for a Gwinnett County police officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty over the weekend. Another officer was wounded as well. Mary Kate Hamilton with our sister station has the story.
One day after a Gwinnett County police officer was shot and killed and another shot and seriously injured, a memorial grows in front of the Gwinnett County Police Department.
He will be so missed.
This officer won't be able to go back to his family.
Officer Pradeep Tamang's patrol car sits parked today, collecting flowers from friends and strangers.
Not only was he a co-worker, he was a friend, and it could have been my husband.
And this man paid the ultimate price, and I'm just thankful and grateful that we have people like that.
Officer Tamang, just 25 years old, was shot and killed while responding to a call that a man had been using a fraudulent credit card at a Stone Mountain hotel. When he and Officer David Reed found the suspect, now identified as Kevin Andrews, Gwinnett County Police say the man shot both of them. Officer Tamang did not survive. Officer Reed was badly injured and had to be rushed into surgery. For Krista Kirst, the wife of an officer, it's a somber reminder of the dangers officers face.
Having to see my husband go back out there and do the shift that Tamang was on it's very gut-wrenching and very terrifying. But as a police wife, you kind of sign up for the gut-wrenching.
And for Michael Brown, the son of a sheriff who took his own son with him today, it's a lesson in what officers sacrifice.
It's important for me to show my son that people put themselves at risk to protect others. And that's a caring thing. That's a selfless act.
Now a poem lays on Tamang's windshield. To his name, they will add a gold star. He answered the call of himself and gave his all.
Know that he died a hero. Know that people know, feel, respect, and appreciate him.
Yeah, just really tragic story there out of Gwinnett County. Well, staying in state news, Tuskegee University's head basketball coach has hired high-profile legal representation after a post-game altercation or incident in Atlanta that's now really drawing attention from across the country. It happened after their game against Morehouse College in Atlanta. Video shows head coach Benji Taylor handcuffed and escorted off the court by a police officer. He has since hired civil rights attorney Harry Daniels. Attorneys say Taylor asked officers to remove Morehouse football players from the court after they acted aggressively, as required by conference security rules. They say Taylor was never charged, and attorneys are now exploring possible legal action. Taylor's attorney released a statement saying in part, quote, "To put him in handcuffs, humiliate him, and treat him like a criminal in front of his team, family, and a gym full of fans is absolutely disgusting, and they need to be held accountable." Well, taking a live look now at the nation's capital on the right of your screen, where the House returns today to consider the deal to fully reopen the government after a partial shutdown began Saturday at midnight, which impacts several agencies, including the Defense Department, Department of Homeland Security, and Transportation Department. Even though the Senate has now passed a measure to address Democratic concerns over ICE tactics, the House must still approve that bill in order for the government to fully reopen. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest.
ICE out, ICE out. As demonstrations took place in communities nationwide this weekend to protest the Trump administration's immigration enforcement tactics, debate over ICE in Congress has also partially shut down the federal government.
We have a logistical challenge of getting everyone in town.
The House must still vote on the Senate-passed deal, which splits off funding for the Department of Homeland Security, providing only a short-term extension while lawmakers negotiate ICE reforms.
Because of the conversation I had with Hakeem Jeffries, I know that we've got to pass a rule and probably do this mostly on our own. I think that's very unfortunate.
House Democrats say they won't help Republicans fast-track the bill, and ranking member of the Homeland Security Committee urged Democrats to vote against it, saying they must demand real changes.
Donald Trump and his administration have been using taxpayer dollars to brutalize everyday Americans, kill American citizens, and violently target law-abiding immigrant families.
Despite Democratic opposition, House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed optimism the partial shutdown will end Tuesday, but that starts the clock on the more difficult negotiation over larger reforms.
Sir, do you think it's good having lots of cameras on these kinds of incidents between law enforcement and the people?
I think it would help law enforcement, but I'd have to talk to them. I'm going to be talking to them tomorrow. Actually, I think it would help law enforcement.
In addition to body cameras, Senate Democrats have said they also want an end to roving ICE patrols, tightened rules regarding warrants, and a ban on face coverings. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, changes made to SNAP are now in effect, and it could mean that millions of Americans lose their benefits. Passed last year, the Big Beautiful Bill added new work requirements that start now. Able-bodied adults without dependents must meet those to receive benefits beyond 3 months. The age limit has risen from 54 to 64, and the child exemption age has dropped from 18 to 14. And flyers who don't have a real ID will now face a $45 fee from TSA. Other authorized forms of ID include a passport or Homeland Security Trusted Traveler Card. If you don't have any of those during security screening, you'll have to purchase a temporary TSA Confirm ID that works for a 10-day travel period. Well, the U.S. DOJ is facing another round of criticism after releasing more of Jeffrey Epstein's case files. More than 3 million pages of documents and images related to the convicted sex offender were posted on Friday. A top justice official says the review is now complete, but others say much more material needs to come out. CBS's Scott McFarland has the latest.
The millions of pages of Jeffrey Epstein materials show the prominent men who were once in the disgraced sex offender circle, including these photos of former Prince Andrew on all fours over an unidentified woman on the floor. Queen Elizabeth's son has denied all wrongdoing, but British Prime Minister Keir Starmer called on him to testify to Congress. And this appears to be an email from Elon Musk to Epstein in 2012 asking, "What day, night will be the wildest party on your island?" Sent 4 years after Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting a minor for prostitution. Musk, who repeatedly has called for the release of an Epstein client list, denies any wrongdoing. writing over the weekend, "If I actually wanted to spend my time partying with young women, it would be trivial for me to do so without the help of a creepy loser like Epstein." The new documents also show Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick arranged a visit to Epstein's island with his wife and children in 2012, after which Epstein passed along this message to Lutnick: "Nice seeing you." But late last year, Lutnick said he had cut off ties with Epstein years earlier.
My wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
On Friday, Lutnick told the New York Times, "I spent zero time with him." A Commerce Department spokesman said Secretary Lutnick had limited interactions with Mr. Epstein in the presence of his wife and has never been accused of wrongdoing. Other emails show New York Giants co-owner Steve Tisch asked Epstein to connect him with women. In a May 2013 email, Epstein invited Tisch to his mansion late in the evening. Tisch responded, "Can I expect trouble?" In a statement Friday, Tisch said he and Epstein exchanged emails about adult women, adding, "I did not take him up on any of his invitations and deeply regret associating with Epstein." President Trump consistently has said he kicked Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club and ended their friendship 2 decades ago. And while there are hundreds of references to Trump in the trove of newly released documents, the president claimed they further exonerate him.
Not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left.
The Friday release was only partial, just more than half of the projected 6 million pages. But the Department of Justice now says the review is over. A new statement from Epstein survivors said, "This is not over. We will not stop until the truth is fully revealed and every perpetrator is finally held accountable." CBS News has learned several congressional leaders are now seeking immediate access to review the Epstein files themselves from the Department of Justice, saying without doing so, they can't be certain the law is being followed. Scott McFarland, CBS News, Washington.
Back here at home, we have an update from GDOT about roads across the state. Officials say crews are continuing to treat roads with salt and snow plows in the areas that need it most that didn't dry yesterday. They also say that their crews are working 12-hour shifts. GDOT says most of the state routes have dried well. However, there are some icy conditions in certain pockets across the region. So if you do have to drive, officials warn black ice could form, so be careful. They also say if a road looks wet, you should assume it's ice. As for South Carolina, officials are warning you of the same thing as GDOT. They also say to salt your sidewalks and driveways to cut down on any frozen areas around your home. Well, after 37 years of service in the Fire Department 5 at Burton Fire District, Captain Lee Lovick has officially retired today. A traditional bay drive was held last week where all the fire vehicles in the district drove through the station bay, lights flashing and sirens sounding in his honor. WTOC spoke with Lovick last week, and here's what he had to say about his retirement.
It is both awesome and scary. They say jobs don't define you, but this one has defined me for all of my adult years, so it's going to be interesting to try and find a new definition, shall I say. The South Carolina Fire Service is a family, so regardless of the patch on the shoulder or the name on the side of the fire truck, they're all my favorite. And I say that wholeheartedly only because it's not the name of the agency, it's not the trucks, it's the people.
And during his years of service at the Burton Fire District, the captain was also a national conference speaker. All right, if you're in Statesboro, check your lottery tickets because a store in Statesboro sold a winning ticket worth a little over $800,000 on January 31st. The winning lottery ticket matched all 5 numbers in the Georgia Lottery Fantasy 5 drawing. Those numbers were 08, 20, 21, 36, and 37. The ticket was purchased at Noria. Another winning ticket of the same amount was also sold at Petro Express. And if you're feeling a little lucky, the next Powerball drawing is today for $65 million. Well, country music star Ella Langley is making a stop in the hostess city as part of her Dandelion Tour. She'll be performing at Enmarket Arena on May 15th, featuring a couple of special guests as well. Last year, Langley won Best Single of the Year at the Country Music Awards for her single, You Look Like You Love Me with Riley Green. The country music star was also nominated for Best New Artist of the Year and Best Female Vocal Artist of the Year at the 2025 CMAs. Tickets for her show go on sale February 6th at 10 a.m.
There is a shadow here on my ground. 6 more weeks of winter abound.
And finally, here on WTOC Plus, Punxsutawney Phil has made his decision. The famous groundhog came out around 7:20 this morning, and he saw his shadow. That means 6 more weeks of winter. The first official Groundhog Day dates back to 1887. That's when people in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, made the first trek to Gobbler's Knob, which is Phil's current home. Also wanted to say our digital team did a little bit of digging. Kudos to Chris for finding this. You know, Pennsylvania isn't the only state with a groundhog tradition. NOAA tracks about 19 groundhogs or groundhog equivalents, I guess you could say, across America. Here's how they stack up with their accuracy. Number 1 is Staten Island Chuck in New York, who gets it right 85% of the time. Number 2, Georgia's own General Beauregard Lee, 80% of the time, pretty well. Third place was Lander Lil, which isn't a groundhog. It's actually a statue of a prairie dog in Wyoming, 75% of the time correct. Punxsutawney Phil, all the way down there, number 17 out of 19, gets it right just 35% of the time. You could flip a coin and do better than Punxsutawney Phil. So just putting that out there. Maybe the best folks to listen to are the meteorologists right here at WTOC. All right. And with that, we're going to wrap up things here for the news on WTOC Plus. I'd like to thank y'all for making us part of your afternoon. Welcome to our communities coming up in just over 40 minutes. That'll be with Dawn Baker at 3 o'clock at the top of the hour. And in the meantime, you can always check our website for the latest updates at WTOC.com. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and here's Local News Live.